Hey everyone, today we'll be discussing VAT regulations for social media agencies and influencers. There has been a recent buzz with influencers and social media agencies having to comply with UAE VAT regulations. We'll explain this with some examples and also get into how you need to meet the requirements. Hey everyone, before we move ahead, please click on the subscribe button to stay updated on our weekly business and finance related content, which is incredibly useful for business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, and those who aspire to be one. Now let's get back to the video. Before we get into what the regulatory requirements are, let's first understand what is VAT. VAT is value added tax, is an indirect form of tax. Here, you would be charging VAT to your client for all the services you provide, and you would pay this to the FTA after reducing all the VAT on expenses that you've had for your business. If your client is registered for VAT as well, your client will be able to claim back on all the VAT that you have charged them. Also note that being registered for VAT and charging VAT is not going to impact your income, nor is it going to impact your expenses. It will not even impact the expense of your client. So VAT is something where you charge but claim back at every stage. So this is basically a cost for the end customer who is not registered for VAT and will have to bear the VAT for all its expenses. To understand when you should be registering for VAT, you can watch one of our older videos, the link for which is provided in the description box below. If you're an artist, influencer, marketing agency, or a creator of any kind, you would have to comply to the VAT regulations like any other business. There hasn't been a special update in the UAE VAT regulations. If your sales in the last 12 months or next 30 days crosses 375,000 dirhams, which is the mandatory threshold, then you need to register for VAT and comply with these VAT regulations. If your sales is above 187,500 but below 375,000 dirhams, you are in the voluntary threshold. Here you have the option to register to VAT and file for VAT every quarter. However, if you're below this threshold barrier, then you cannot register for VAT. If you decide to register for VAT, you would need to comply with all the VAT regulations, charge 5% to your customers, and also make sure that you file for returns every quarter. One of the main advantages of being registered for VAT is that now you have the option to claim back VAT on most of your expenses. Let's now go through some of the frequently asked questions or some real life examples to understand this a little better. First question is, if you're selling art or any services to your clients outside UAE, do you need to charge 5% on your invoices? No. If the client is outside UAE and enjoys the services outside UAE, then the sales would be zero rated, which means the sales is taxable with 0% VAT. If you are registered, you would need to disclose this in your VAT return. As a social media agency, are you required to raise a tax invoice? Definitely. Like any other business, if you are located in the UAE and your client is also in the UAE, you must raise a tax invoice and charge your customer 5%. As an influencer, you have decided to provide some of your services free of cost. The value of these services is 50,000 dirhams. Does this have any VAT impact? Yes, this will be treated as a deemed supply. You will need to pay 5% of the value of the free products or services that you provide to your customer. In this case, the VAT payable will be 2,500 dirhams. The next one is, you are an influencer for makeup products. You decide to charge your clients 5,000 dirhams plus VAT for each post. You also get reimbursed 1,050 dirhams for all the makeup products that you have purchased. How do you treat this in your VAT return? It is clear that you have to disclose 250 dirhams, which is 5% of the 5,000, as your output VAT or VAT payable in your VAT return. You also have to disclose an additional 50 dirhams, which is the VAT portion of the 1,050, to disclose as output VAT. So your taxable sales will be 6,000 dirhams and your output VAT will be 300 dirhams. The next frequently asked question is, how would the VAT treatment work if you have an agent or a social media agency between you as an influencer and your client? This really depends on what the role of the agent or the social media agency is. If the agent has a direct contract with the client, then the agent will raise an invoice with VAT to the client for the services provided as per their contract, and you as the influencer would raise an invoice with VAT for your services directly just to the agent. The other possibility is if you have a direct contract with the client and the agent just charges you for commission. You will have to raise an invoice with VAT to your client directly, and the agent will raise an invoice with VAT to you for the commission. The VAT charged on this commission can be claimed back by you in your VAT return. The last question we'll discuss today is what happens if you do not register for VAT even after crossing the mandatory threshold. You will be penalized 20,000 dirhams by the FTA for late registration. You will also be given an effective date of registration based on when you cross the threshold. Because of this, you will also be required to file for returns in the past. You will be then given an additional penalty for late return filing of AED 1000 dirhams for the first return and AED 2000 dirhams for each return after that. There will also be an additional charge for late payment fee, which will be charged on a percentage of the payable amount, and this can go up to 300%. We have already made a step-by-step guide on how to register for VAT and how to file for returns. You can access those videos in the description box below. I hope this video was useful for you to understand how you need to comply with the VAT regulations as an influencer, artist, or social media agency. Hey everyone, you've reached the end of this video. Thank you all for listening. If you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you'd like for us to talk about any specific topics, please do let us know in the comments below. Hope to see you in the next video.